Hello everyone, welcome to the Analyst by Vajiram and Ravi dated 24th August 2026, where we would try to comprehensively analyze 7 articles in 3 different sections along with your daily mains answer writing program. In the analysis part, we will first have a comprehensive discussion with respect to the shipbuilding industry of India. Why is it important? Why have it lagged till now and what are the new opportunities? In the second article, we will have a discussion with respect to how AI is transforming cyberspace by making cyber attacks faster and difficult to detect. Then in the mains value addition section, we will have a look at some of the points related to Indian economy and how the core sectors are performing. Finally, in the prelims pointer section, we will have a discussion with respect to 4 different articles from the special perspective of your UPSC prelims exam. Coming to the very first topic of today's discussion. Think about India's geography. We have more than 7,500 kilometers of coastline. We sit astride some of the world's busiest sea routes and a huge share of our trade, it moves through the sea. But there is an interesting contradiction. We use the sea extensively, but we don't build enough ships. China, South Korea, Japan, they dominate the global shipbuilding, while India's global share remains extremely small. This means that even when an Indian company wants to expand its shipping fleet, a large part of the value creation happens outside India. But now the situation is changing. The global shipbuilding capacity is becoming increasingly concentrated, and a gap is emerging as some traditional shipbuilding economies they face higher cost, capital constraints, and because of this, India believes this is an opportunity to move from being merely a maritime trading nation to a maritime manufacturing power. And this is why shipbuilding is not just about ships. It is about manufacturing, providing employment, defense preparedness, energy security, technology, and the blue economy. So today, let's understand why India has historically lagged in the shipbuilding industry, why the sector matters now, and whether India can really become the next global power in shipbuilding hub. In this context, we'll look yesterday the Defense Minister Rajnath Singh, he recently highlighted India's potential to become a global shipbuilding hub. Now, why this is important for us? This is part of GS Paper 3, Indian Economy, Infrastructure, Manufacturing and Defense. It can be used in any one of the places to write your answers. Now, coming to the first part, what is the current status of India's shipbuilding industry? How is India doing in this particular regard right now? Right now, we are 16th globally in shipbuilding when it comes to the ranking. These China, Japan, South Korea, they are among the topmost, the leaders. Then a lot of European nations are also way ahead of India. The global market share remains very small. China, South Korea, Japan, as I have told you, they dominate the commercial shipbuilding industry. Clear? And India has 20 plus shipyards, both public and private. For example, if you see here, Garden Reach Shipyard, it is one of the biggest shipyards of India, situated in Kolkata. Then you have this Hindustan Shipyard Limited in Andhra Pradesh, very important one. You have this Goa Shipyard, very important. Kochi Shipyard is an important in Kerala. You have Mazgon Dock Shipbuildings in Maharashtra. These are some of the major shipbuildings, or you can say dockyards in India, where shipbuilding actually happens. Clear? What is India's shipbuilding target? India's maritime vision aims to become a major shipbuilding power by 2030 and 2047. So we have target for two timelines. One is 2030 and 2047. Till 2030, we want to be among the top 10 globally shipbuilding manufacturers. Right now, we are at 16th. We want to be amongst the top 10 by 2030 in the next 4-5 years, which looks tough. However, if the government is willing to take out new measures in this regard, they can do it. 0.6 million gross tonnage annual production. Production means you are producing raw material for the ships, and 2 million plus jobs. Then another target is for 2047, where we want to be among the top 5 globally. Anyways, by 2047, we will become Viksit Bharat. We have been shown this dream that we will become Viksit. If we will become that, so we will be part of top 5 globally for sure. 4.5 millions of gross tonnage annual production and 15 million jobs will be created. Fine. So this is the current status, and these are the targets what India intend to achieve in the next 5 years and the next 20 years. Moving ahead. Now, this is an important point. Why is shipbuilding industry so important for India? Why do we value it? Why the government is putting a lot of focus behind it? Why the government is putting so much money in promoting the shipbuilding industry in India? First is the strategic and defense security. The indigenous construction of warships, submarines, patrol vessels, they strengthen our economy, they strengthen our defense system. We do not rely on any other country to gain the defense equipments, and because they can get the data from these equipments if we borrow from somebody else. Clear? For example, INS Vikrant demonstrates India's growing indigenous and naval shipbuilding capacity. Clear? Then manufacturing and employment. We are a country of large population. We have a young demographic dividend to which we have to provide a lot of employment. Where will it be generated? It will be generated in such kind of industries. Clear? So shipbuilding has strong linkages with steel, engineering, electronics, machinery, and micro, small and medium enterprises. If all the value chain which is associated with shipbuilding, if they will get enough work, they will provide employment to a lot of people. A lot of small companies, they provide hell lot of you can say small ancillary parts to the shipbuilding industry, the major shipyards, because each and everything is not made by shipyards on their own. Let's say somebody else manufactures a if you take an example of a car, somebody manufactures a headlight, somebody manufactures a sunroof, somebody manufactures seat, somebody manufactures alloy wheels, and they all come to the Maruti plant, and then Maruti assembles that in one place and make the car. Although the major component, the body of the car, the engine, all these are made by Maruti themselves. Most of the small things, they are assembled by the other companies, and then they send to the any manufacturer. Same thing happens in the shipbuilding industry. Then maritime trade. A strong domestic shipbuilding industry can reduce India's dependence on foreign-built vessels. Now, what happens during the times of crisis? There is a shortage of vessel availability. It can hamper our trade. But if we have our own indigenous shipyards developing our vessels, we will not be dependent upon any other country for the vessels. So our trade will not get hampered anytime. Then blue economy. It supports shipping, coastal transport, fisheries, offshore energy, and maritime services. They all are part of blue economy. So to dominate into the seas, to extract the maximum out of the blue economy, you require good shipbuilding industry. And then energy security. Domestic shipbuilding can support construction of LNG carriers, oil tankers, and offshore vessels. Now you look at this LNG carrier, liquefied natural gas carrier. Now here the case study of Korea can be used. Korea has developed expertise in constructing these LNG vessels or LNG carriers. So that's why majority of the world's LNG carriers, they are you can say manufactured in Korea, and then they are shipped to different places in the world. And last is technology development. It drives capabilities in marine engineering, automation, advanced materials, green propulsion, and digital ship design. So once, for example, you understand it with the example of space tech. Let's say laser. Laser was developed for space technology, for use in the space tech. But later on, what happened? Laser was used in a lot of places. It is used in defense, it is used in weapons, it is used in heart surgeries or different kind of tumor surgeries. It is used in science experiments. It is used in multiple places. So it is called spin-off effect. Here also, once we will start developing the large ships on our own, on a larger scale, a lot of spin-off technologies will come out, which will be used in other industries. Clear? So this is why shipbuilding industry is important for India. It has use case in so many places. It can provide a lot of employment to the Indian youth. Now we'll see why has India lagged till now. What are the reasons why India could not achieve greater heights in shipbuilding manufacturing till now? So high cost of shipbuilding. Now it is a capital intensive industry. You require a lot of capital upfront. It is not something, let's see, if you look at the IT industry, the TCS, Infosys, Wipro, HCL Tech, all these companies, they are among the best in the world because that is not a capital intensive country. India is a capital hungry country. We require a lot of capital to develop industries. But when we look at the IT industry, it is an asset light model. So they don't require too much capital. They require human capital to do the work. But in these kind of industries, manufacturing industry, you require upfront capital a lot. Clear? So face a cost disadvantage compared to the major global economies. Then you have lack of economies of scale. If you make something on a larger scale, the per unit cost of production reduces a lot. So that is called economies of scale. Let's say if you are making 2 rotis, chapati, it will take a lot of effort from you. You'll get up, go to the kitchen, you'll make a dough of the wheat, atta, and then you'll cook 2 rotis. But what if I'll ask you just cook one more? Incrementally, it will take very less efforts. Clear? So this is how economies of scale work. It provides efficiency to a company. So Indian shipyards, they historically handled small order volumes. India manufactures this, but we require to manufacture this to achieve efficiency and operating leverage. Then weak domestic demand. Till now, we were not growing as strong. Our growth rate has only been accelerated in the last 15-20 years. And we still have to go a long way. Right now, the per capita income of India is less than $3,000 per person. We have to move from here to more than $10,000 per person. In that process, we will require a lot of domestic vessels for trade. So India's shipping companies have historically preferred buying ships from cheaper foreign shipyards because they work at scale, they can provide you at cheap cost. Limited access to funds, it is easy to explain. Fragmented supply chain. Now what happens? We have a large dependence on imported marine engines, specialized equipments, navigation system, and high-end components. What India is good at assembling things. We are not good at manufacturing a lot of things. So what we do right now, even what are we doing with the Apple iPhone? A lot of headlines are made that Apple's iPhone is made in India. It is being exported that much. But majority of the components are imported into India. We assemble them at one place and then we export it. So we have to move. The next step logically will be that we'll start manufacturing inside our country only. So we have to work on this value chain, that the critical components we have to create on our own. Then technology and skill gap was there, shortage of highly specialized skills in naval architecture, marine engineering, advanced welding, automation, and ship design. Clear? There are infrastructure constraints. For example, large-scale shipbuilders, they require dry docks, deep shaft facilities, heavy lift infrastructure, waterfront industrial land, and efficient logistics. But all of this was largely missing. Still, these are issues prevalent in India, but the government is slowly and steadily working on these, how we can improve this. Clear? High gestation period. High gestation period means that you get an order, you design it, build it, and then finally till the time you deliver it, it takes a long period. So it requires a good amount of working capital. Working capital. So this working capital is stuck inside the work. At that time, how will somebody, let's say, do its work? So normally what happens? A shopkeeper, let's say he brings in some material, he sells it, he gets money very quickly. But here the gestation period becomes very large. Till the time the person who has set up industry, he gains profit. So large gestation period are tough for people to do business in. And then you have global competition. China, South Korea, Japan, they possess massive capabilities, mature ecosystem, skilled workforce, established global customers, and they have developed economies of scale. So they might also be doing something to maintain the status of their shipbuilding industry. So they might automate things, they might innovate, they might bring in new technologies. So we have to compete with them also. Clear? So this is why India lagged till now. Now, what is India shipbuilding industries related government initiative? What government has done till now? See, we have shipbuilding financial assistance scheme. Now, in this shipbuilding finance assistance scheme, what is happening? It provides financial support to bridge the cost disadvantage to the Indian shipbuilders. An outlay of roughly 25,000 crores have been given till 2036 for the next 10 years. Through this money, just like PLI scheme and other schemes, the government will support the shipbuilders in India so that they can procure new technologies, they can upskill their manufacturing bases, they can provide training to the employees and all those things. Then we have shipbuilding development scheme. It supports greenfield clusters. How new clusters will be created? Clusters are some places where government provides the initial infrastructure. The private player comes in, they plugs in to their whatever work and they start working. Clear? And brownfield capacity expansion. Greenfield is something when you develop a new industry there. Brownfield is that your industry is already there and you are just expanding it. Then we have Maritime Development Fund, which provides long-term financing. Here you have 20,000 crore Maritime Investment Fund and 5,000 crore Interest Incentivization Fund. Clear? So Maritime Investment and Interest Incentivizing Fund. Clear? 25,000. Again, you have National Shipbuilding Mission, intend to coordinate and drive India's shipbuilding strategy. Demand aggregation. Government has prepared a fleet acquisition plan of more than 400 vessels. The government has given upfront orders to these shipbuilders, and they have provided them a long-term visibility that we will procure this much of vehicles from you. You start working on it, you start developing them. And then infrastructure status. Indian flagged commercial vehicles of 10,000 gross tonnage. Gross is the weight. This is how the ships are measured as per their weight. Were given the infrastructure status. Clear? So any vessel, if they are creating having weight more than 10,000 of gross tonnage, it will be given infrastructure status. Once a particular thing has been given infrastructure status, funding and other things become easy for that industry. Because let's say if this is one industry, this is another, this industry has infrastructure status, it can easily take loans from the banks for work. But if this does not have infrastructure status, it will be tough for this industry to take loans. So they have to rely on their own capital. Clear? Now, what are the recent opportunities? Why it is emerging now? What has changed right now? See, global capacity vacuum has been created. The traditional shipbuilders, their industries, they face rising cost because the cost of working has become very high in those countries. In India, let's say a worker will work for rupees 20,000, whereas in China or South Korea, a worker will take, for example, 2 lakh for the same work. So the cost, the labor cost has risen too much in these countries. Aging infrastructure, the infrastructure was old, it is not easily upgradable. Capacity constraints, now more and more orders are coming, they are not able to fulfill them. Changing environmental standards, now you are focusing more on the green shipbuilding industries, because these shipbuilding industries, they are very polluting. So a lot of emphasis is on these industries that they do not pollute not only the air but also the water, because they work close to the oceans and they discharge a lot of waste into the oceans. Then this creates space for new competitive shipbuilding centers, and India can leverage low-cost, skilled manpower. Strong steel industry, where we have companies like Jindal Steel, Tata Steel, which are working well. Strategic location, where we have more than 7,500 kilometers of coastal borders, and we sit right in the middle of Indian Ocean, which is the hub of trade route. And expanding domestic demand, we will require more and more ships for our own trade. So this is all changing. The older system, it is getting saturated, and the newer system is taking up the new space which is being created. Still, a lot of challenges do lie ahead. What are these challenges? Competition with East Asia, China, Japan, South Korea. It still remains. You can never underestimate these countries. Japan has become what Japan is even after the bombing of the Second World War. Clear? Building a component ecosystem. Shipbuilding cannot become competitive without domestic marine equipment supply. The machine engines, basically the ship engines, a lot of navigation system, all this has to be developed internally within India. Then we have to provide long-term stable finance, skilled workforce. Still, we lack training of the naval architecture and marine engineering. Marine engineering is not a common engineering, you can say, branch which can be seen in majority of the institutions. In every institution, you can find out computer engineering, civil engineering, mechanical engineering, but marine engineering is hardly found anywhere. Then you have technology. Future ships will require AI, automation, green production, and advanced materials. So we have to work on all these. India is still lagging in these issues, so this is a challenge. And the environmental regulations. Global shipbuilding is moving towards low carbon, zero emission vessels. Clear? So Indian shipyards must be ready for green shipbuilding. So this also, whenever you are working in something where you have to reduce the emission or something else, you have to put in extra cost in that. For example, if your industry is sending sulfur in the atmosphere, you have to put in desulfurizing units there. They cost in crores, desulfurizing units, which capture the sulfur from the outlet and does not pollute the environment. So it always costs you something. Yes, these are some of the challenges. So what can India do? What are the way forwards? How we can build a strong shipbuilding industry, which is not only important for economy, but also important for our defense purposes. First of all, build scale, just like what China did. Consolidate shipbuilding into large, globally competitive clusters. Now for clusters, government has also brought in shipbuilder scheme. Okay, then develop domestic component ecosystem. Promote Indian manufacturing of engines, navigation equipments, propulsion system, and marine electronics. And once you start building all these, they will also help in a lot of other defense production, automobile production, and other things. Ensure long-term order visibility, procure vessels from domestic yards, and also incentivize the private players to procure vessels from these players. There are multiple ways to incentivize private players to do this. Strengthen the ship financing, long-term low-cost financing, skill development has to be given. Maritime skills, we have to create specialized maritime skill centers for naval architecture, for welding, for marine engineering, and digital ship design. All this has to be part of the top institutions. Promote green shipbuilding by using green hydrogen, methanol, and electric propulsion in a lot of production and engines. Then integrating shipbuilding with defense. Leverage India's naval shipbuilding expertise to develop commercial capabilities. Right now, what is happening? India is still decently good when it comes to building its own naval vessels. So a lot of India's now own patrol vessels, anti-submarine warfares, they are being built in India only. That technology, that expertise can be used to build commercial ships also in India. So that is what we have to leverage. Okay? So this is all what is required to do in India. Now you have this practice question. India's dependence on foreign shipyards despite its vast coastline and maritime trade reflects a major gap in manufacturing ecosystem. Examine the challenges facing India's shipbuilding industry and suggest measures to make it globally competitive. Make sure you guys write this answer. Coming to the second topic. For decades, a cyber attack required something very important: time and human expertise. Someone had to find the vulnerability, write the code, send the phishing email, and analyze the target. Now, artificial intelligence is changing this equation. Today, AI, it can help identify vulnerabilities at scale. It can generate malicious codes, create highly convincing phishing messages, and even automate parts of cyber attack. In other words, the attacker is no longer necessarily sitting behind a computer manually executing each and every step. So, but also at this time there is an interesting paradox. The same technology that makes cyber attack more dangerous, that can also make cyber defense even stronger. AI can analyze millions of signals in real time, identify behavioral anomalies, and respond to threats much faster than humans. So the future cyber battlefield will increasingly be AI versus AI. And for India, this raises a strategic question. Can we build the AI capabilities, computing infrastructure, cybersecurity ecosystem, and the skilled manpower necessary to defend a digitally dependent economy? This is what we will understand today in this topic, where this article says AI is transforming cyberspace by making cyber attacks faster, more automated, adaptive, and difficult to detect. But it also gives a counter argument how AI can also help us become more, you can say, more defensive or more stronger in our defense. So AI can be used in both ways. Our enemy will use AI against us, but we will use AI for us to defend ourselves. This is important because this is part of GS paper 3 Science and Tech and Internal Security. Now coming to this, first we should know what is AI, what is artificial intelligence. Let's say if something is asked in your exam, in your mains exam future, you can write a definition. So AI refers to the machine performing human-like tasks. Its main components are machine learning, which is an algorithm that trains on data, neural networks that mimics the brain structure, and natural language processing that understands human language. Clear? So these are the three main components of AI system: your machine learning, neural networks, and natural language processing. Machine learning trains on the data, neural network works like brain of a human, and natural language processing understands the human language or inputs. AI system works by taking input, processing them with the algorithm, and providing intelligence outputs that mimic human cognizance and reasoning abilities. Clear? So you have input in the form of text, image, audio, and data, which then the processing is done by the neural network in the form of algorithms, machine learning, neural network, NLP. They recognize pattern, they learn, and reasoning, they make decisions based upon data. And finally, the output comes, the prediction which has been asked, recommendations, response, and automation. Clear? So this is how AI works. Now, what is the AI enabled cyber warfare. Okay, let's understand what is AI enabled cyber warfare. It refers to the use of AI and machine learning systems to automate, enhance, and scale cyber attacks and cyber defense operations. Now, cyber warfare will include both cyber attack and cyber defense. It is cyber warfare. Always remember these small differences in key terms. If they are using what is AI cyber attack, it is something else. But if they are asking what is AI cyber warfare, it includes both defense and attack. What happens in a traditional cyber attack? There is a human, he uses tools to target somebody. In AI enabled cyber attack, you have AI system which analyzes patterns, which adapt to the system which it had to attack, and then it attacks. AI reduces the time, expertise, and human intervention required for several stages of the cyber attack. So it, you can say, fastens up the process. Basically, the entry barrier for any other person to come and do cyber attack has been reduced, because now they can use AI and build its algorithm in such a manner that it can be used easily in attacking some you can say instrument or institution. So let's deep dive how is AI transforming cyber attacks. See, it automated the vulnerability discovery. Now earlier what used to happen, a single person has to sit behind computer and identify the vulnerabilities. Where are the gaps? How I can explore these gaps? How I can take advantage of this? But now one AI agent, it does all the work. It can quickly, in seconds, it can identify the gaps. These are the places where the gaps are. AI can scan large number of systems to identify security weaknesses rapidly. Example is Anthropic's Claude Mythos. Its preview reportedly identified thousands of zero-day vulnerabilities across major operating systems and browsers. I think that's why the Mythos version of Claude is not publicly available to everybody. Okay. Then you have AI-generated malwares. These malwares which attack other computers. These are generated by AI on a large scale and on a quick process. AI-powered phishing. You can say phishing messages which people think they are, let's say, false messages, like if they are coming from bank and there's a link to update your PAN, Aadhaar, and you click and it goes to your account is empty. So these type of phishing messages can be generated by AI. In social engineering, AI can analyze publicly available information to target individuals psychologically. So publicly available, a lot of information is available on your social media. That can be analyzed by AI. And deepfakes, right now such beautiful videos, photos are created by AI. You cannot differentiate whether it is genuine or automated or AI generated. So these videos, they impersonate individuals. A fake voice message appearing to come from a senior executive could be used to manipulate employees. Clear? For example, sometimes a boss can a message can come in the sound of boss which says that you have to do this task, but actually it is a false message. Then autonomous cyber attacks. AI agents can potentially identify targets, plan attack, execute actions, adapt with limited human interventions. You just have to give them task initially. Rest, they do all the work. Clear? So, but the other argument to this, the counter argument is that AI is also transforming cyber defense. Now, how AI is transforming cyber defense? Let's look at this. It does real-time threat detection. AI can identify unusual network behavior. कुछ भी छेड़खानी होगी system से, if the attacker does something which is not normal, it can be easily identified by the AI systems. So the people who are against you, who will be attacking your institution's infrastructure, they will be employing AI, but you also deploy it before them so that you can understand if an attack is happening. Then automated response. The AI detect anything, isolate them, contain or respond to those threats or activities. Then malware detection, behavior anomaly, it can be easily detected by AI. Threat intelligence, AI can analyze massive volumes of network traffic, dark web information, malware samples, logs, and threat reports. Now, intelligence earlier, it was completely relying on humans. Let's say you have a coded language. Earlier, पहले क्या होता था? You must have seen in movies, the enemy state, the terrorist or somebody else, they used to communicate through cheat codes, clear, through some coded languages. A person has to sit there and decipher that language, what they want to say, what they mean by these signs. But now you can give it to any AI agent and they can quickly do this task. So intelligence gathering can also be automated with the help of AI. Although there is no substitute to human intelligence, that still has to be there. Then vulnerability management. AI can continuously identify weakness and prioritize the most dangerous vulnerabilities within the system. Let's say there were data breach in AIMS. So if the AI system is deployed, it can identify that this particular data batch is vulnerable, secure it with better technologies, otherwise it can be leaked. Then predictive cybersecurity. AI can identify patterns that suggest where an attack may occur before the attack actually happens. So you make AI system in such a way that they act like they are attacker, they identify the gaps, and then they can tell you that here is a gap. If I was an attacker, I would attack here. So secure this thing. Clear? So AI can help in transforming cyber defense also. So there are arguments on both the side of this, how AI can be good or bad for the cyber security. Now, why India is particularly vulnerable? Anyways, we are a large population country, and majority of our population is not well educated, so we become vulnerable. But there are a lot of things: rapid digitization, digital payments, Aadhaar linked services, e-governance, digital banking, and online commerce. Every one of this task, it is increasing at a rapid pace, and the more you use the system online, the more you are vulnerable to any kind of attacks. Let's say people of our generation may not be as vulnerable, but our parents are extremely vulnerable to any kind of cyber attack. You have critical infrastructure, which is having huge dependence on right now IoT based systems. Power grids, they can shut down power grids by hacking your power grid systems. Railways, airport, banks, nuclear facility, defense system, oil refinery, telecommunication, everything. These are all critical infrastructures. They can be hacked by any AI-based cybersecurity attacker, and it can increase the vulnerability of our economy. Growing AI adoption. The AI is becoming integrated into businesses and governance systems. New vulnerabilities can emerge with time. So let's say if you are a businessman and you have incorporated AI into your website, in future there can be new ways through which your system can be hacked because of the AI integration into your system. Then dependence on foreign AI ecosystem. India remains dependent on external sources for several components in AI. For example, foundation models, GPUs. For example, we take from NVIDIA's these graphical processing units, the semiconductor chips, and data center infrastructure. Mostly we rely on the countries of USA, Taiwan, TMIC of Taiwan, USA, NVIDIA, all these companies for these kind of chips. Clear? So again, this creates our vulnerabilities. There were articles 1 month ago where it was reported data breach was reported. They target in India's Kudankulam nuclear power plant. And this was not the first data breach in Kudankulam. In 2019 also, cyber attack targeted this. But now the cyber attacks will become more frequent because of AI. So this is why India is rapidly vulnerable. Apart from this, a major point which is not written here is the unaware population of India, or you can say less educated people of India. Clear? Then what are the India's current efforts? What are we doing? First is CERTIN, Indian Computer Emergency Response Team. CERTIN is Computer Emergency Response Team India. This is the short form of Indian Computer Emergency Response Team. Then it is the national agency for responding to cybersecurity incidents. CERTIN has adopted AI-driven threat detection and cyber resilience measures in the recent times. Clear? Then we have Cyber Swachhta Kendra. These Cyber Swachhta Kendra, they help detect and clean malware-infected devices. A person can go in the Cyber Swachhta Kendra and they can get their items or devices detected, and they can be cleaned of any malware if it is present in it. National Cyber Security Strategy focuses on strengthening India's cybersecurity ecosystem. This is a broader policy. Then Defense Cyber Agency. Within defense, now cyber is the fifth domain of warfare. First you had army, land-based warfare, air-based warfare with Air Force, water-based warfare with Navy. Then you had space-based warfare with the help of outer space, satellites and weapons, all those. And fifth is cyber-based warfare. So we have to increase the defense capabilities also, which government is doing. Then indigenous AI ecosystem. India is investing in AI models. Now one of the AI models of India is our Sarvam. if I am not pronouncing it wrong. HCL Technologies company has also invested 1400 crores in this company. Then we are investing in GPUs and computer powers, data centers, AI research, and semiconductor ecosystem. Various companies like Tata, Keynes Tech, they are developing semiconductor chips in Assam and Gujarat. Clear? So it is important for us to reduce strategic dependence on other countries and build more and more components within our country. Clear? So this is what India is already doing in this regard. Then what more can be done? What can be the way forwards? We have to build a secure, resilient, and AI-powered future. For that, we require to build indigenous AI stacks, our own chips, our own GPUs, foundation models, data centers, where the infrastructure is completely ours, and our own cloud system. Right now, we depend upon the Apple Cloud, the Google Cloud, Amazon services for cloud. So we have to create all this of our own, because we cannot store the critical information on somebody else's platform. AI native cybersecurity move from reactive to predictive and autonomous defense. So we don't have to just react after a cyber attack has taken place. We have to proactively identify where the attack can happen and proactively work to stop it even before it happens, to fill in the gaps before it is being exposed. Then protect crucial infrastructure or critical infrastructure like power, defense, banking, telecom, transport, and nuclear facilities. Human in the loop. Maintain human oversight for high-risk autonomous cyber operations. The perfect example of this is an aircraft. Now, from last 20 years, the airplanes, they are flying on their own. But still you require two pilots in a plane for emergency operations. Now, entire plane can be run through automation. Even if there is no pilot in the plane, it can go from one destination to another, but still the pilots are required just to make sure that if the risks are high, 250 people are sitting there, their life can be in danger, so you put in human behind that machine. Same can be required for critical infrastructure also. Then strengthen public-private cooperation. Government, startups, technology companies, academia, they should come together, all of them. And continuous vulnerability management. Adopt a principle of every vulnerability should be treated as potential exploitable. That means every vulnerability which has not been exposed till now, but it is a vulnerability, it can be exposed in future. It should be treated as a potential exploitable. That means if you not fill the gap in future, somebody will exploit it. So fill those gaps beforehand. Develop a cyber workspace. Expand specialized training in you can say different fields: AI, cybersecurity, forensic, and cryptography. And finally, the international cooperation. Strengthen cooperation in Quad, G20, UN cyber framework, bilateral cybersecurity partnership with countries, let's say Israel, South Korea, where India has good relations and these countries have good technologically. These are superior, at least to India. Clear? So this is what India has to do with regards to the cyber security to make sure our critical infrastructure is not damaged. It is proactively managed and safeguarded. Clear? So your task is now to write this answer. India's growing digital dependence makes AI-enabled cyber attacks on critical infrastructure a strategic security concern. Discuss the vulnerabilities involved and suggest measures to strengthen India's AI-driven cyber resilience. Now coming to the mains value addition section, we'll look at some of the mains pointers which you can use in your answer writing related to Indian economy. Now these topic, or you can say these points, were covered in the editorial page today, where the article says core concerns regarding Indian economy, which looks set for tougher times ahead. Now it says that the article says the core industries, they are seeing a slowdown. The core sector growth, it fell to 5.4% in July from 6% in June. That means in June month, the core industries growth was 6%, which was reduced to 5.4% in July. What are core industries? There are 8 core industries in India. These are the 8 core industries. Your refinery having the highest share, electricity, steel, coal, crude oil, natural gas, cement, and fertilizer. Fertilizer having the lowest share among these core industries. So these are the basic industries of a country. They are, you can say, a kind of building block of a nation. Clear? Then we had weak domestic demand. Manufacturing PMI, it fell to lowest level since August of 2021. PMI is Purchasing Managers Index. It is released every month by S&P Global. Basically, it surveys all the managers of big industries and asks them how is the mood, how the procurement is going, how the production is going in different industries. And they try to analyze what is the mood of purchasing managers, how they are working, how much of the industrial output will be there. So it is a lead indicator how the economy is doing. Then base effect, it said that headline growth in some of the sectors is inflated as low base of the previous year. I think at this time in previous year, you had Operation Sindoor and those kind of operations, because of which the last year's base is small. Then import dependence. Crude oil imports, they rose 13.3% in volume in July, highlighting India's external energy dependence. Government is focusing a lot on ethanol, but still the crude oil import is increasing in India, both in volume and value terms. So it has highlighted this high import bill. Crude oil import jumped 41% in July due to higher oil prices. So we are having 13% increase in volume and total 41% increase in value of crude oil which we are importing. External risk. US tariffs on countries importing Russian oil could further pressure India's trade competitiveness and export sector. Now every day Trump is giving threats to India that you are purchasing Russian oil. One day he wakes up and he says, okay, you are allowed to purchase Russian oil. And another day he wakes up and he says, no, you are not allowed to take Russian oil. So he has made a joke of the American foreign policy, and no country is willing to take America serious now. However, they still possess a lot of power and they can threaten anybody with sanctions, and they can put sanctions also. We export a lot to USA. It is among the major export destinations for India. So we'll have to listen to them somehow for our own benefit. Now it says that energy transition challenge, 20% ethanol blending has not yet materially reduced oil import. Despite ethanol blending, oil import is not reducing. You have bright spots, however, that electricity, it grew 9% and cement accelerated 13%. That means in these two core sectors, at least the growth is good. In cement and electricity. Overall, there is a concern. Indian economy faces a combination of weak demand, higher cost and moderating growth. Our growth is slowing down because the demand is less, and at the same time the cost is also higher. So we are going to have a tough time ahead. This is what the article says. So you can use these data in your economics answer writing or manufacturing answer writing, something, anything of that. Coming to the first Prince pointer of today, it is regarding Congress highlights abnormal delay in Lok Sabha prorogation. Now the delay in proroguing the Lok Sabha after it was adjourned sine die on August 13. Now we are looking at different terms in the newspaper: adjournment, adjourn sine die, prorogation, dissolution. We'll discuss all these terms. What do they mean in terms of Indian parliamentary system? The time gap between the adjournment of Lok Sabha sine die and its prorogation is generally 2 to 4 days, which has not been maintained in this case. So first of all, let's see what is adjournment and who does it. Adjournment means suspending the sitting of the house for a specified period. That means the speaker says that this house, you guys are not sitting properly, this house is adjourned and we will meet again at 4 p.m. Let's say in the morning, he says. That is called adjournment. You suspend a sitting for a specified period. You tell the time period. It can be for few hours, a day or several days. Done by speaker in case of Lok Sabha and chairman in case of Rajya Sabha. Clear? The house continues to exist. The pending businesses, they generally remain same as it is. Nothing changes. Speaker says the house is adjourned till 11 a.m. tomorrow, and tomorrow again the house rejoins at 11 a.m. Then comes adjournment sine die. Adjournment sine die means without assigning a date or a time. The presiding officer, same in Lok Sabha your speaker, in Rajya Sabha chairman, they ends the sitting without specifying when the house will meet again. The house still continues to exist. It has not been dissolved. It is different from prorogation because the session has not formally been ended by the president or governor. If you, for easy remembrance, adjournment means see you on a specific date, and adjournment sine die means see you but no fixed date. So that means you are not doing any commitment in sine die. So this is adjournment and adjournment sine die, you know. Now let's look at prorogation. What is the difference between adjournment sine die and prorogation? Prorogation means termination of a session of parliament or state legislature, that you terminate a session. In India, we have broadly 3 sessions. Tell me in the comment section, what are the 3 sessions in India? Clear? And when you can say terminate these sessions, one session gets over, you terminate, that is called prorogation. done by President in case of Parliament, and Governor in case of state legislature. So once the Speaker of Lok Sabha, he adjourns sine die the House, the sitting. After that, 2-3 days, the President can prorogue the session of that particular parliamentary session. Clear? So this is how the procedure works. Adjournment and adjournment sine die done by presiding officer, Speaker and Chairman. Prorogation and dissolution are done by President and Governor. It is done on the advice of Council of Ministers, as you all know. In our political system, almost everything the President does only on the advice of Council of Ministers. They cannot do anything on their own. It effect on bills and motions. Bills pending in the House do not lapse merely because of prorogation. Prorogation वैसे कुछ change नहीं होता bills में. Certain motions and resolutions may lapse. They have to be again brought in when another session starts in the Parliament. However, dissolution is something different. It means termination of the entire Lok Sabha itself. Now, prorogation is termination of a session. You will again meet, let's say in the first budget session, it is terminated, you will meet in the monsoon session. Monsoon session is terminated, you will meet in the winter session. But dissolution, the entire Lok Sabha is terminated. Applies only to Lok Sabha and not to Rajya Sabha. Rajya Sabha is a permanent house. It cannot be dissolved. Rajya Sabha can be adjourned. It can be adjourned sine die. It can be prorogued. But Rajya Sabha cannot be dissolved. On the completion of 5 years, Lok Sabha or earlier, if the President on the advice of Council of Ministers thinks the Lok Sabha has to be dissolved, they can dissolve them. Rajya Sabha is a permanent house. We know. Effect on pending bills. Bills pending in Lok Sabha generally lapses on dissolution. And however, the bills passed by Lok Sabha and pending in Rajya Sabha also lapses on dissolution of Lok Sabha. So any bill which has something to do with Lok Sabha and it has been dissolved, it gets lapsed. If a bill is pending in Lok Sabha or it has been passed by Lok Sabha, pending in Rajya Sabha, they will lapse. Clear? So now you understand the difference between adjournment sine die. Here it is without any date. And then your prorogation done by President and dissolution again done by President. Clear? So let's look at some of the exam tests, what they can ask. Adjournment ends the session. No, adjournments end the sitting. Session is ended by prorogation. Adjournment sine die means the House is dissolved. No, the House is not dissolved. It just, the sitting has been suspended. Prorogation dissolves the Lok Sabha. Again, this is wrong. President, it just dissolves a session. President prorogues Parliament on his own discretion, not in his own, but in the advice of Council of Ministers. Rajya Sabha can be dissolved. No, it cannot. All bills lapse on prorogation. No, on prorogation, bills do not lapse. Bills lapse when it is dissolution. On, you can say, prorogation, what lapses? Certain resolutions just. Adjournment is ordered by the President. No, adjournment is ordered by the presiding officer. It can be Speaker, Chairman. Moving ahead to the next topic regarding ICMR, Indian Council of Medical Research, which says no new strain as capital reports 2000 swine flu cases. Swine flu is going on a lot in country right now. So it may create a pandemic for us. So in that, Indian Council of Medical Research has reported that these strains are not new. They are treatable and we can manage them. So let's look at ICMR, what Indian Council of Medical Research is. It is an autonomous body under the Department of Health Research of Ministry of Health. So it is not a constitutional body, it is not a statutory body, it is autonomous body under Ministry of Health, mostly involved in biomedical research. It was established in 1911, before independence, when it was named as Indian Research Fund Association, IRFA. After independence in 1949, it was renamed as Indian Council of Medical Research, ICMR. It's headquartered in New Delhi and objective is to formulate, coordinate and promote biomedical research in India. So all the research, just like DRDO is for defense, ISRO is for space, now ICMR is for biotechnology research. The major areas of research are communicable and non-communicable disease, nutrition and health, maternal and child health, vaccine, public health, medicine related research and AMR. They did a good work during the times of COVID also. They helped in COVID vaccine generation. Then what are the key functions? They conduct and fund medical research, develop research guidelines and ethical standards for biomedical research, support research institutions and scientists, translate research findings into public health policies and interventions. Once they have found out something, they also help it for implementation with the help of government, that if you are implementing something, we have found out this, use our data, use our knowledge to implement your schemes. Provide scientific inputs during health emergencies just like COVID-19. Their funding is primarily done by Government of India. Clear? Because it is an autonomous institution within a health. So healthcare का जो भी budget होगा, from that they will get some amount. Now there is an important distinction between ICMR, which does biomedical and medical research, and National Medical Commission. National Medical Commission is completely different. Now ICMR do not regulate the doctors. Medical education and professional regulation are primarily done by National Medical Commission. National Medical Commission का काम है that whatever doctors are being trained or set the standard for the doctor's education and look after the professional conduct of doctors. That is under National Medical Commission. Earlier it was called as Indian Medical Association, IMA, which has been, their structure has been changed and transferred into National Medical Commission. So what kind of the exam traps here? ICMR is a constitutional body. No, it is an autonomous body, which you can say it is an executive body. ICMR is a statutory body created by Act of Parliament. Again, it is wrong. ICMR functions under Ministry of Science. No, it functions under Ministry of Health. ICMR is India's apex body for regulation of medical education. No, medical education is done by National Medical Commission. It is regulated by NMC. ICMR regulates medical practice. Again, this is wrong. It is regulated by National Medical Commission. Clear? So these can be some of the exam traps. Moving ahead. Now the next topic is regarding Ajit Doval's visit to Beijing. Boundary talks will be there with Wang Yi, who is their defense counterpart, similar to what Ajit Doval is in India. Now, why he is going to Beijing? Because NSA visit comes ahead of BRICS summit in New Delhi next month. Next month, we have BRICS summit in New Delhi. The Chinese delegate, Chinese president will also come to India. So before that, you had some fruitful talks on the diplomacy level has to be done. So that's why he is gone there. The two countries have been moving to repair ties that plummeted after the military standoff along the line of actual control in eastern Ladakh. We had boundary dispute with China in the Ladakh region, eastern Ladakh. So to solve that, he has gone there to further and you can say improve the discussions to find out a solution. So first understand what is line of actual control. The LAC is the de facto boundary separating the area controlled by India and China. What is de facto? By the very fact. It is a legal language. That means this is the actual boundary separating India and China. Now this is LAC. This is your line of actual control. This. Clear? So this part, Oksai Chin, it is in China's control. Although it is part of India, but controlled by China illegally. So it is not an internationally recognized boundary. It has been recognized only by China, because they have just captured that area, and runs along India's border with China across Ladakh, Himachal, Uttarakhand, Sikkim, and Arunachal Pradesh. So this entire stretch from here, which contain eastern sector, central, western sector, central sector, and eastern sector, this all is part of line of actual control. The approximate length of it is more than 3,400 kilometers. The term LAC gained prominence after the 1962 Indo-Chinese War. And there is boundary dispute in this sector, as I've told you, the line of actual control. Dispute arises from different boundary claims. Now, both countries have different claims. In this area, let's say this is the area which is this Oksai Chin. Now, one is there is a Johnson line proposed in 1865, which India claims. It says somewhere the boundary is this. One is the McCarthy-MacDonald line, which is proposed in 1983 by which is China's claim. This line says something like this. So India says this Johnson line is the exact line. They say the McCarthy-MacDonald line is the actual line. So if India's claim is maintained, this area will be ours. But what China says, according to this line, this area will be Chinese. So this is the dispute. Now look at this. This is the Johnson line, the green one. India says this should be the line and this should be the line of actual control. But China says no, this orange one, the McCarthy-MacDonald line, this should be the line which India should mean or maintain. Clear? So that's why this dispute happens. Both countries keep on shifting their goalpost. But however, India claims this larger area, that this area is entire ours and China has illegally occupied this. Now a lot of important points are here in this area which you must know. This is Karakoram Pass here. Karakoram Pass. This is Siachen Glacier here. This is Siachen Glacier, which is the highest point here. Now India has captured the Siachen Glacier, and because it can directly connect China and Pakistan, they can overlook on this China-Pakistan connectivity from here. You have Deep Sang Plains here, which are important place. Nubra Valley. Then you have this Galwan Valley where the clashes actually happened between India's and Chinese soldiers. You have Pangong Tso Lake, which is a very large, hundreds of kilometer long lake. 1/3 of it is in India and 2/3 is in China. You have Shyok region, which is again a point of conflict between India and China. Clear? Then in Demchok also, you had some kind of confrontations. So these are all the areas around the line of actual control where the infighting between India and China keeps on happening. Understood? Coming to the exam traps. Now, LAC is internationally recognized legal boundary. No, it is not internationally recognized. Then LAC separates India and Pakistan. Again, this is wrong. On India-Pakistan border, we have LOC, line of control. So line of control is on western side of India-Pakistan border. LAC is on the eastern side, line of actual control. So LAC and LOC are same? No, they are not same. LAC line of actual control is with China, LOC is with Pakistan. McMahon line applies to the entire India-China border. No, McMahon lies not to the entire but to the Arunachal Pradesh section of the India-China border, the eastern section. Then LAC is fully demarcated and mutually agreed by India-China. Now, this is wrong. It is not fully demarcated and it is not mutually agreed by India and China. Clear? So that's why the dispute is there. Coming to the last section of today's prelims pointer, it is regarding Democratic Republic of Congo and the M23 armed rebellion group. They agree to the peace talks. So basically these peace talks brokered by America, they happen in Switzerland. The armed rebellion group called M23 and the government of DRC, they have agreed to work on the peace talks. The Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo has been riven by decades of conflict with multiple armed groups fighting over the mineral-rich territory, particularly the cobalt. This Congo region is rich in cobalt, so there are armed groups who want to control that area, who want to gain money out of that by doing mining. Clear? So let's look at the you can say physiography or other details of physical and physiological details of this Democratic Republic of Congo. Its capital is Kinshasa. Kinshasa is located somewhere here at this point, Kinshasa. Clear? On the bank of Congo River, Kinshasa. Now you also should know that Republic of Congo is a different country. Democratic Republic of Congo is a different country. So these two are different, separated by the Congo River. It lies in the Central Africa. Look at here in the middle of Africa. Equator passes through this area, the second largest area in Africa after Algeria. Algeria kahan hai? Algeria is somewhere. Let's say this is your Africa. Algeria is here. Algeria is the largest, you can say, country in Africa. Then this Democratic Republic of Congo is the second largest. It shares border with 9 countries. Which are the 9 countries? Let's say Republic of Congo first, Central African Republic second, South Sudan third, Uganda fourth, Rwanda 5, Burundi 6, Tanzania 7, Zambia 8, and Angola 9. So these are the 9 countries with which DRC has a boundary with. Congo River is the world's second largest river by discharge after the Amazon. Now here we are not talking about the length. By length, Nile River in Africa, which drains into Mediterranean through Egypt, is the longest river. But when it comes to the largest means how much water it is draining. Amazon is the largest river, second largest is the Congo River. The equator passes through DRC, this is fine. Then the Congo Basin. DRC contains the largest share of Congo rainforest, the second largest tropical rainforest in the world after Amazon. Just like Amazon River, you have Amazon rainforest, which are also called the lungs of the earth. They are the largest rainforest. Congo rainforests are the second largest rainforest in the entire world. Then you have Virunga National Park, Africa's oldest national park and famous for mountain gorillas. Where it is situated? It is somewhere here. Virunga National Park. It is on the borders of Uganda, Rwanda and DRC. On the borders of these 3 countries. Virunga National Park. It is the oldest national park of Africa and also famous for mountain gorillas. The minerals found here are, it is rich in cobalt, copper, lithium and coltan, gold and diamonds. Okay, particularly cobalt, copper, these are very much found in DRC, and because of these mineral resources, they have a mineral curse. The fighting is going on. So this is something wrong in Eastern DRC. So look, this is the entire Democratic Republic of Congo. In this, you have this eastern part here in Uganda, Rwanda and Congo. Now this Virunga National Park. This Virunga National Park is also located somewhere here. Okay. Also, this eastern DRC is the area where M23 is operative. M23 is area of operation. It has experienced prolonged conflict involving armed groups. M23 is one of the major armed groups active in the region. The conflict has significant humanitarian and region security implications. Now, India is also maintaining decent relations with DRC. We have diplomatic relations. We have partition in the UN peacekeeping operations in DRC. India is one of the biggest contributor in terms of personnel to the peacekeeping missions. And Indian companies have interest in sectors such as mining, pharmaceuticals, and infrastructure in DRC. Clear? So you must know a little bit about the geography of DRC. And you should also know what these lakes are. I think this is Lake Edward, this is Lake Kiev. So make sure when you look at the Africa's map, you look at all these maps. Sometimes they also ask the chronology, or you can say the order from north to south of these maps which are found in the Great African Rift Valley, these lakes. So what can the exam traps here? DRC's capital is Brazzaville. No, Brazzaville is the capital of Republic of Congo. DRC's capital is Kinshasa. Okay? So Brazzaville is the capital of other Congo. DRC and Republic of Congo are the same country. No, they are not same. DRC lies in west. No, it lies in Central Africa. The Tropic of Cancer passes through DRC. No, this is wrong. Equator passes through DRC. Congo River is the world's longest river. No, it is the second largest river. Clear? And Virunga National Park is located in Kenya. Again, this is wrong. It is located on the borders of Uganda, Rwanda, and DRC. Virunga National Park. Clear? So these were some of the exam traps. Now with this, we come to end to today's session. Make sure guys you attend the questions which have been given to you and follow the quiz. I'll see you again in the next session. Thank you.